Good afternoon. This is Historica Calendar from London, a weekly podcast for history lovers, publishers, and editors who use history for their projects and various other endeavors. In this edition, I'm focusing on events for the week of 17th to the 23rd of March 2014. We have a number of anniversaries which you can see in our Historica app, such as the anniversary of the birth of the Russian composers Modest Mussorgsky and Rimsky-Korsakov, as well as the Flemish painter Anthony van Dyck. And also there is a German engineer there, Daimler, and so on. But the one particular event which I will highlight is the 700 years since the demise of the Knights Templar, the important organization in medieval Europe. In fact, on the March 18th, 700 years ago, the last Grand Master of the Knight Templar, Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake, and this was ordered by the French king and the Pope. And this tragic event, as I said, spelled the end of this organization, who was instrumental in the Crusade Wars, which were very common in medieval Europe, and very important in medieval Europe. Now, in this sort of bloody conflict, there's not much to talk about, and we should be simply forgotten. It's not a very good part of the European history. But what came out as a positive is the innovation or invention of the first cashless method of payment, the predecessor to the modern credit card, PayPal, or Bitcoin as we know it today. And this was invented out of the necessity by the Knight Templar, who had branches and offices in the modern or lingo all over Europe, all the way to the Holy Land, i.e. Jerusalem, and other pilgrim spots such as Compostela or Lourdes in France. So, but basically, the problem was that the pilgrims will travel from various parts of Europe to visit these holy places, and on the way there they will often get robbed and lose all their money and belongings. So the Knight Templar found a solution for this problem, and they will simply ask the pilgrims to deposit their funds at one of their branches in major European cities, and in exchange the pilgrims will be issued with a letter of credit, which was, according to some scholars, coded. It wasn't clearly written, but it was encrypted, so it couldn't be easily deciphered. And with this letter of credit, they will simply travel the Europe and go all the way to the various pilgrimages. And when they visit, they will be able to stay at one of their Knight Templar appointed inns and be provided with the food and lodgings. And they will simply present their letter of credit to the attendant. This will be then accounted for, and then when they arrive in, for example, Jerusalem, they visit the Knight Templar branch there, and it will be given a final statement showing how much they spend on the way to the Jerusalem, and but if they need to pay anything extra, they will need to pay, or otherwise they will be given a sum of money which will left on their account. So essentially, the same thing, a similar thing, what a credit card does for you today. So this was very important for today's finance. Well, thanks very much for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this edition. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Goodbye.